trip to our testing facility for gravel bikes here in Decatur County, also known as Terry's Playground. He has a pond back here for fishing and just some cool trails. So we decided to bring Matt in. Thanks for coming down.
Yeah.
And as usual, when Matt Tanner's here, the sun is shining. So all the time. Yeah. We thank you for doing that.
Yep.
We spend a lot of time. We talk about why people should buy a steel gravel bike and you know why you should buy a gravel bike. We do have that video that we've done with you. I thought maybe it would be a good day just to talk about the Gravel Killer itself.
Yeah.
And just give a review of the bike. For those that know, I mean, you had a hand in developing the bike. So maybe we could just kind of go through that, you know, this bike as to what you like and why it's a great bike and people ought to buy it.
Yeah. I mean, first, I don't know how much they can see of the bike back here, but you know, if you're looking for a gravel bike, I always send everybody to STS. But the main reason is because they're made of steel, and that's kind of obviously what STS is known for, and that's something in a gravel bike that's a quality that you have to experience. And I would encourage anybody that's in the area that could come out and test ride one, or come see me and come ride mine up in Carmel or whatever. Like, you just got to try it to understand it.
That's one of the things that we tell people. You got to put your butt on it.
Yeah.
I mean, people like the looks of it, but I mean, when you actually get on it and ride it, that's when you realize it's something special.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, we brought my road bike today as well, and to kind of contrast and compare, like what makes a gravel bike, or why are they, you know, what's different about that than just a road bike, or even a cyclocross bike, which is even closer to a gravel bike. And you know, when you compare these two bikes, I'm currently riding all SRAM components, and they're almost identical. I mean, it's almost like a road setup on this STS Gravel Killer. We've got an Explorer rear derailleur, whereas we have a red axis rear derailleur on my road bike. But other than that, the components are like almost identical. The shifters and the front crank, everything about it is very road like. You know, for me, I'm racing these bikes, and coming from a road racing background, it feels very natural when I hop on this bike.
Right.
But the difference is it's set up to be able to handle, you know, rougher terrain or loose dirt, or you know, volcanic rock in Iceland. You know, so
which we've done.
Yeah. So you know, again, comparing the bikes, both these bikes have Zip 303 Firecrest wheels on them, the exact same wheels. Obviously, the tires are quite a bit different. These are on the road bike are Pirelli road
tire.
P0. Yeah. And on the Gravel Killer today, we have Panaracer Gravel Kings on, which are a slick tire, but obviously a much fatter tire. So allows you to ride in, you know, rougher terrain. You can ride over pretty much anything with these kinds of wheels, these kinds of tires.
Yeah, because like you said, you did ride at the Rift, but we've done races in Michigan where it's a lot of dirt, sand, and it's very smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me a little bit.
I would say the tires, you know, that I rode in the Rift are quite a bit different than these tires. We just got back from a race we did in Michigan last month, the Dirty 30. Those roads up there, other than the billion potholes that I hit,
right.
they're almost like paved roads. The gravel is so hard packed, and it's so smooth. So I picked a slicker tire with less tread on it. A little bit thinner than what I would ride on some of the chunkier stuff too.
Right.
So it was, I mean, that race there were guys riding road bikes on that race. But I would have wanted a fatter tire for sure.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things with the gravel bike that you get is the clearance for fatter tires.
Right.
So.
And we do have, so, you know, where you ride makes a big difference as to what tire you're going to put on there. You know, and you're very good at trying, you know, you do the research as to you're going to a certain place, let's find out what's going to be the best tire for that spot. We do a lot of things in Michigan, but we also have a couple people out in Missouri and Nebraska, or Morgan's in Nebraska, and then we have sales reps in the Missouri area, and they are always wanting bigger tires.
Yeah.
I mean, they said it's pretty chunky gravel out there, so gravel's about tires in a lot of ways. The frame's an amazing thing, but you get into riding a gravel bike, you're gonna have to learn about tires.
Yeah, it was humbling to me the first time I rode gravel. I had I think they were 38s on, and in Boone County, Hamilton County, where I live, the gravel up there is basically giant rocks, and it's about that deep. I mean, and the guys I were riding with all had 40, 44s, 40, 48s.
Oh yeah.
Big balloon tires, and they were killing me. And I was stronger than these guys, but I was like, how are they going so fast? I'm watching my power meter, and I'm like, there's no way those guys are doing 400 watts. Like, and they weren't, but I was, to try to keep up, because I was just plowing through this deep gravel with these little skinny tires. So,
that was is Boone County, is that the same place as the Harvest?
Yes.
The Harvest 50?
Yeah.
So it was interesting, last year at the Harvest 50, somebody who now rides a gravel killer is Warren Heiss.
Mm-hmm.
And when we saw Warren, he had huge, he wasn't on one of ours at that time. He's learned since then. But he had really big tires, and I'm like, he's going to be okay. He knows something, because there was a lot of thick, really, because I think he was like a big mountain bike there, like 2.5 inch.
He's a big mountain biker guy, and he might have been riding like 50s at that event.
I think he was.
Yeah.
It was a 50 or 50. Yeah, it was a big tire.
Yeah.
And he's a big guy, so he's going to sing. No offense. He's stronger than I am.
Big strong guy.
Big strong. He's stronger than I am on a bike, for sure. Yeah, tires are very important. That's one of the things I remember. I hate to give Steve any credit for anything, because,
I
mean, like, if we'll hear about it if he watches it, we'll find out for sure. But that's one of the things he talked about early on with gravel. He said it's all about the tires, and he spent a lot of time talking about that.
Once you figure out the tires, to continue, you got to figure out the right tire pressure.
Yeah.
And that's
tires and pressure.
That's always hard. It's been funny, before an event, you'll hear everybody talking in the parking lot, like, what PSI you gonna run? How much pressure you running today? And, oh, you running the slicks? You running the 38? And just geeking out, and you're screwed once you start anyway. It's like, it doesn't matter, you pick 40 PSI or 20, and it was the wrong one. So
it is what it is. Yeah. But so your tires is a big part of what you have to figure out. And so I know for us in the ordering process is we talk to people about what's your max tire going to be. So we'd encourage people to think about that, and you got to factor that in as to how big a tire you really want to go to, as to what you can do. But matching the tire, and you get into a steel frame, you get a great tire and a good steel frame, it's gonna be the best ride you've ever had.
For sure.
So going back to the comparison here, because you got your Factor road bike, and so tell me a little bit about the differences, and like especially with, I know with gearing, you got a road cassette back there.
I mean, we can start there. I mean, obviously in gravel, you're probably going to encounter some hills, and the traction may be a challenge going up those hills, because you're not on a paved surface. So you want to have a pretty good climbing gear on your gravel bike. On my road bike, I joke, but it's true. This is like my Florida, Indiana road bike.
Yeah.
This one does not have a climbing gear, and it's a 1x. It's like, I've ridden it in North Carolina a couple times, and it was like the worst experience. It was 50 RPMs up climbs, and but the road bike, obviously, I have a lot smaller cassette. I think I have like a 27 or 28 cassette on there, and even on the front end, the crank on this is just slightly smaller than my road bike. I think this is a 48 and that's a 50. So that's just to get that climbing capability. For me, myself, I race primarily in the Midwest. So we don't do a ton of like all day long mountain climbs.
Right.
And I'm a pretty powerful rider, so I can kind of get by with this little bit bigger crank set than what a lot of people would ride.
I think that was far and away the biggest chainring we saw on anybody at the last event. I think we saw someone who was bragging that they had a 44, and I'm like, hey, good for you.
Let's try 48.
Yeah.
But it paid off on this bike. I mean, I podiumed at the last race in my age group, but it wasn't, there were guys there that just trashed me. But when we did hit the paved roads, and I could get in that 4810 back there, I was smoking. I was flying, and with the slick tires, it was a fast bike on that flat like road section. How's the paint color look in the sun?
Good.
Yeah. Are we like showing Kate's brilliant handiwork with this.
She didn't misspell anything. That's the important thing.
Right.
So. Yeah, so you helped. So you helped us develop a race bike, and then you also have picked out one of the coolest colors, I think. So Warren might he might argue with you.
Warren, I didn't realize how cool Warren was, so I saw it like on his Facebook.
It's
like,
pretty
or
cool.
maybe a picture. No, the picture you sent me.
Yeah.
I saw it on his Facebook, and I was like, oh, that's kind of like yellow or something. And then I saw your studio picture, and it's like bass boat. What is it?
It's bass boat yellow.
Bass boat yellow? Holy moly.
So you went with the candy. What color is that, Kate?
Tangerine.
Candy tangerine.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
And I have no idea why I picked it. Like, I don't own anything orange. But I thought it was cool and looked good in the color chips that Kate provided. So.
Well, Matt, thanks for coming down. This has been Andy and Matt's day at the pond. Thanks for coming. Like I said, thanks for coming out. Thank you for coming out. Thanks for coming. I gotta say that 20 times.
Yeah, well, you better thank me.
This has been Matt's Gravel Killer. If you have an interest in a killer, check us out at stsbicycles.com. And if you're a bike shop owner, let me know. I'll send a rep your way.